Today on CityCast Philly, it's Election Day. As we choose new lawmakers, we want to look back at some old laws that are still on the books in Pennsylvania, especially the weird ones. Back in July, CityCast Pittsburgh host Megan Harris and I chatted with a reporter about some outdated laws and what happens when the state decides to enforce them. It's Tuesday, November 7th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. CityCast Pittsburgh host Megan Harris. Hey, Megan.
Hello.
And joining us is Harrison Can, reporter at City and State PA, who's looked into some of these ridiculous laws that are still on the books in the Keystone State. Hey, Harrison.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
I can't wait to hear about all of these. They look just absurd. So, Harrison, give us a taste of what's coming. Like, what's one weird thing that's illegal somewhere in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, as many of us know, fishing and hunting are big in the Commonwealth. And in Pennsylvania, fishing is only legal when using a line or a hook. So using your bare hands is illegal. And on top of that, using a particular fish, including goldfish and koi fish as bait, also illegal.
I hope no one's doing that.
Right. Well, there is some fishing happening in Philly. It's I see people in the Schuylkill, but I personally wouldn't eat what comes out of that water.
The color does not look appetizing. I'll give it that.
No. And there's many other things that come out of that water too. But anyway.
Pittsburgh's got them on to contend with the Schuylkill.
There is a funny little loophole with that, actually. So technically, if you are holding a line with a hook in one hand and you dip your other hand in the water to catch a fish, that is still legal because you have a fishing line in one hand.
Interesting.
I
also read that you can't fish with dynamite.
Yeah.
What?
I wonder if fireworks count. I feel like here in Pennsylvania, that's something you could do maybe on accident. Maybe I've seen it.
So what? People were throwing dynamite in the waters and like the fish would pop up?
Yeah, I honestly don't know what the intent is there, but it might be casting a wide net, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, definitely. One of my favorites here on the western side of the state near Pittsburgh is in a little place called Tarentum. It's actually illegal to tie a horse to a parking meter or a streetlight pole. Dogs are fine, though. You can tie up a dog all day.
Interesting. Harrison, what's like a weird law or what's something that's illegal everywhere in PA?
Another one that's illegal everywhere in PA pertains to bathrooms and bathtubs. And an individual's bedroom can't be more than 200 feet from a bathtub, shower, or a toilet. So no accidents at night this time.
I'm not sure how. I don't know, like who comes up with these laws? Like I don't know. Maybe this was like the day of like outhouses, maybe.
I'm imagining them kind of like the warning labels that we have on all our products. And you're just like, who in the world messed this up that you feel like you have to put this in writing? Like, that's how I feel about these laws.
I want to meet someone who designed their house with a bedroom 199 feet away from a bathroom.
Right.
The real estate agents, they'll come for you. Allegedly, here in Pittsburgh, you cannot take a mule or a donkey onto a trolley, which I recently learned a lot of old school Pittsburghers think of the trolley is the same thing as like what y'all would call a septic car, which I find hilarious. Like, I think of a trolley as like an above ground thing, but apparently that is not the old school definition. The underground counts too.
So a subway too. You can't bring a mule or a donkey on a subway?
Maybe that's part of the outlying legal definition. I want to find out.
All right, Megan, have you broken any of these rules? Like, did you bring your mule on the trolley car without knowing it?
I don't personally have a mule. I'd love one. I did sort of break one, I think. I test drove a car once on a Sunday, which I have now learned from these lists that's not a thing you're allowed to do. All car dealerships are supposed to be closed on Sundays in Pennsylvania for the Christian Sabbath. I had no idea. So maybe. I didn't buy it, though. I don't know where the legal line is there.
Harrison, did you break any laws? Break any of these weird laws?
Yeah, like Megan, I assume a lot of us have probably broken these state blue laws, or the Sunday laws, as many of us know them. One of the original ones was prohibiting sports, musical, and theatrical performances on Sundays prior to 1 p.m.
Really?
Yeah, prior to 1 p.m.
What?
So the Eagles and
Oh,
Steelers are
okay.
perfectly fine. But I definitely have had some sort of practice game or meet on a Sunday morning. So I've definitely broken that one.
Oh, yeah.
I also may have once ridden very briefly in a boat that was being towed while on the highway. Didn't know I was breaking a law, and the car was kind of full and it was very short. I feel kind of bad now.
That one at least makes a little safety sense.
It does. It does. I didn't think it was the right choice at the time.
Harrison, have you dug into some of the backstories behind why these laws are laws?
Yeah, a lot of these laws were put in place a long time ago, or in cases like that, I would assume there was some one-off sort of harm or injury to somebody. But yeah, there's a lot of these old ones, especially at the local level. The ordinances are hard to track, so you can't even really find the history behind it.
Right. Now, there's this one law in Danville. You can't sing in public. There's no yelling, shouting, hooting, whistling in the public streets, particularly between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m., as to not annoy or disturb the quiet comfort of people, of office, dwellings, hotel, and any other type of residence. What? How could you even enforce that or try to enforce that? And that would be kind of ridiculous and I think a waste of resources.
Yeah, I think these bizarre laws are often not enforced, though some still remain on the books. And particularly at the municipal level, these old statutes and these ordinances are often kept in place, mostly just because a repeal process can be time consuming and expensive. And I doubt these local leaders want to be spending their weekly meetings, withdrawing some donkey or mule ordinance.
Right.
Is there a way that you recommend to be able to, look up some of these old laws and see, we see them on lists on the internet, but that doesn't always mean that they're real or they're still real. Anything you recommend?
Yeah, at the statewide level, you can look up the code through the Pennsylvania Bulletin. The PA code is entirely online. That's where I was able to fact check a lot of these ones regarding the bedroom and the fishing. Those line items are right there within the state's code.
Would it be hard to get rid of these laws?
It depends on the case, I guess. At the state level, they've certainly gotten rid of some of these older laws. A lot of the Sunday laws, those blue ones, have gone by the wayside. We can now buy liquor on Sundays, stuff like that. So they are attempting to modernize the system a little bit.
Yeah, the liquor laws in particular really strike me because, we've evolved a little since our Quaker upbringing. We can get a few more things in the grocery store. Seems like we're moving a little closer to privatization. Nice to know that we can change, we can glow up. So what if some of these laws are things that people actually agree with? I'm thinking of the one, don't barter your children. That seems like a good rule. Is it still enforceable?
That's a great question. I would assume it's still enforceable, and we would hope so. And yeah, I don't think that's one that is too unpopular.
Where did that one come from? Do you know?
I couldn't find the exact source, but my inclination would be thinking back to the Great Depression when there were, some people in some really bad financial situations actually attempting to barter their children away and get rid of their debt.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. The one that I kind of I think it's kind of weird, is that you can't get married by a minister here if you are visibly drunk. So they want to make sure you're making the right decision for your life.
I think I've been to probably a couple of weddings where there was a thin line between whether the groom was ready or not.
Shouldn't have proceeded. So is there anything bad that can happen if one of these outdated laws doesn't get changed or repealed over time?
Yeah, there's some cases where these have actually been prosecuted. One of the few reported cases of a fortune-telling prohibition within the state took place just a few years ago.
Oh, we're not allowed to fortune tell? I feel like I've had tarot read. Does that count?
Yeah, apparently it is illegal within the state to use fortune telling as a means of profiting, convincing someone that you can alter their life for profit. In 2015, a Philadelphia woman was charged with fortune telling, theft by unlawful taking, and theft by deception in Chester County after convincing a woman to pay tens of thousands of dollars to lift a
Oh my
cloud
gosh.
of quote unquote spells and curses, to lift that off of her.
Oh.
Gosh, I hate that this was a Philadelphia woman. Ah.
But not in Philly. Not in Philly.
Yeah, and it actually wasn't even this woman's first time. She had been previously convicted in other states for doing the same type of spiel. And particular to this case, which I found increasingly troubling as I read it, the victim here was even persuaded to stop taking her prescribed mental health medication, and instead was told to buy candles, oils, perfumes, and crystals to help ward off the evil spirits.
That's terrible. Well, let's bring up the mood just a teeny bit before we let you go, Harrison. I'm curious if there are any laws that you think we should have, that you wish we had. Personally, I could do with a shorter work week. That's mine.
Ooh, I like that one.
I think we would all be on board with that one. I think I'd have to bring it back to the liquor laws. We are starting to see, like we had mentioned, some little bit more leeway in the sale of alcohol and beer. I think we should just double down.
Trinae, do you have any?
All right. Well, Harrison, I have a pet peeve with the use of the word John in Philadelphia. So it must be on the books. We got to get this on the books. Please do not use John for profit in the wrong way.
No John pandering from politicians.
Exactly.
See, we're pro Jagoff over here. Use it to abandon. Do it.
All right, that was Harrison Can, reporter at City and State PA, and CityCast Pittsburgh host Megan Harris. Thank you both so much for joining me and having a fun chat about these weird PA laws.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Trinae.
That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode about weird laws in Pennsylvania, tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. We'll be back tomorrow morning with the results of the general election. Stay tuned. Bye.
Well, sorry that the two examples that I brought were so depressing.
It's Pennsylvania. I don't know, it's Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania's weird, you know? What are you going to do?